Hi, everyone. Brian here. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Brian Zimmerman Show, where I share personal tell all stories and revelations of my good and bad experiences in sales, music, and radio. Wanted to skip the Bill Singer intro today and get right to the episode. I want to talk about competitiveness in sales. And it reminds me of when I started my career, my sales career, started working in the mortgage industry. And my first sales job was, as with probably almost everyone, was being a telemarketer. I think either you're a telemarketer or like a door-to-door person. So working at a mortgage company, I quickly became a junior loan officer. And for those who saw some of the other episodes where I go into more detail about, almost being fired from from that first position, and having a second chance was what propelled me to become not just a junior loan officer at that company, but the number one top sales rep of that company. It was a small company, maybe about, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 people, right? Sales reps. And there was one senior guy there. He was a veteran guy. He was, an older guy, and I remember he just got burnt out. He was the top sales guy, and then I don't know if there was something going on in his life or he was always coming in. He was tired. He said he was dragging. He wasn't having a good day. He wasn't feeling good, and I felt sorry for the guy. And obviously his eye was off the ball, and I quickly jumped up, became took his top position. And we had in the back a whiteboard, with everybody's names on there. And at the end of the week, we tallied up how many meetings everybody got. Carol and Bob and Debbie, and at the end of every week, I was always the first one. I was always number one. And I remember my boss saying, "Well, we have to reward the top salesperson. And what can we get? What can we do?" So I don't remember. I guess people were throwing in their ideas and suggestions, but they came up with, I think it was free movie tickets to the mall. I wasn't much of a moviegoer at that time, so I was at the end of every week I was getting these free movie tickets. I think I gave them to my brother and his girlfriend. Him and his girlfriend always went, but I I loved and I adored and I thrived in that competitiveness, especially with the former top number one. And there was another lady there, Carol. She was an older lady, but she was always like almost being number one. She was always like I had to like she was getting a lot of meetings, and I had to, if I was behind, I knew I had to catch up, right? So it was between me and the other guy, the former number one, and somehow at the end of every week, I managed to outdo them. I managed to outperform them, and that's what made me excited to come to work every day. Right? Was I'm gonna be number one again, and not just for the week, but for that day. And I think that's what sales in every organization should be. There should be um, some sort of team effort, competitiveness, right? Not just to get a commission every quarter or paycheck or something, but there should be some sort of incentive, something better than movie tickets. Um, I know there's people that get the President's Club, and they go on these big extravagant vacations and cruises, and um, those for like the VIP President Sales Club. But I'm talking about something a little bit before all that, to make especially newcomers and new salespeople. I've seen a lot of people, especially in that company, uh, quit within the first couple of weeks, getting very discouraged because they couldn't handle the rejection. And I think for me, apart from the competitiveness, what made me successful was basically having that, as I think about it, that human to human conversation, as I always talk about, instead of a salesy pitch. I think that I just had this normal way of communicating, this general conversation, a normal conversation, and I didn't sound and I didn't act like a salesperson. All these other guys were acting like a salesperson. This is what we do. This is how it works. This is what it costs. Are you interested? Um, People's guards go up when they hear that because that screaming you're a sales guy and pitch. So I had a different approach. I didn't know it at the time, but I just took a more of a just a relaxed conversation with the prospect, with the client, and that's what made me number one. A fact, apart from being that competitiveness. So there was those two things. And I've worked in companies where there wasn't that competitiveness. It was just me and maybe somebody else, or sometimes it was just myself as the the front end inside guy. Um, so uh, what I'm trying to say here is, if companies don't have that, please implement something like that, some sort of competitive. Get everybody involved. Ideas about what the incentives should be. Get that whiteboard up in the back if you don't have one. Make it fun, make it interesting, because we all forgot about sales is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this grind and 100 cold calls a day, and you've got to meet your KPIs. That's suffocating, and we need to find a better way to sell, and a better way to excite and motivate salespeople. So I just wanted to share that story. But that'll do it for me. I'm Brian. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.